In this video, we're going to continue this series of showing text in the New Testament that contradicts the Old Testament. And again, this is something that we need to take seriously and not ignore. And we should be asking why these contradictions exist and try to research and find the answer to that question. But now, let's take a look at the New Testament and see the person who it identifies as the son that was called out of Egypt. And after doing that, we're going to go ahead and compare that to what the Old Testament has to say. So let's start off in Matthew chapter 2, verse 11. Matthew 2:11. It says, "And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, and frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him." So right here we have a passage in the New Testament that a lot of people have read, and without knowing, if you actually keep reading throughout this passage, there's actually a clear contradiction. So let's keep reading. Verse 14. "When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son." So right here, we can tell that the text is saying that Jesus was the son that the Most High called out of Egypt. That's what this says. And again, a lot of times we don't actually go back into the Old Testament to look at what that prophet said and then look at the original context of what he was saying. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go to Hosea chapter 11, verse 1. It says, "When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt." So here in Hosea 11, verse 1, we don't see any mention of Jesus, but it tells you that Israel was the child and son that the Most High called out of Egypt. So we can see that there's a clear contradiction. One is saying Jesus is the son, one is saying Israel is this son. And keep your finger here. Let's go back to Matthew chapter 2, and let's just look at verse 15 real quick. Verse 15 says, "And was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son." It's acting as if this is a prophecy that needs to be fulfilled. And it's saying that Jesus fulfilled what this prophet said. Well, when we go back to Hosea chapter 11, verse 1, notice how it says Israel was called out of Egypt. Well, when was that? That was when the Israelites were in captivity in the land of Egypt, and then the Most High brought them out of the land of Egypt into the land of Canaan. So what we can see here is that this is not anything to where it's talking about a future event. This was something that happened in the past. So, of course, you can see it makes no mention of Jesus. It's just saying that Israel was the son that was called out of Egypt. So that is a clear contradiction. So we can clearly see that Hosea was not referring to Jesus. And we should really be wondering what the New Testament writer was thinking when he said that Hosea was talking about Jesus. And why did he not mention Israel at all in Matthew? Because that's what the verse in Hosea 11, verse 1 was actually talking about. So this is another example where the New Testament is contradicting the Old. But the problem that a lot of people have is you won't be able to see this if you don't go back and study the Old Testament. And you won't be able to understand these contradictions if you don't study the Old Testament and compare it to what the New Testament is saying. And I suggest you go ahead and listen to the playlist I made on New Testament contradictions, because this is something that everyone should be aware of, because we should all try and serve the Most High in the way He intended us to. Shalom.